What do you want for your marriage to feel like in 2025? How do you want to feel in 2025? This can be, how do I want to feel emotionally? This can be, how do I want to feel physically? How do I want to feel mentally, spiritually, any type of feeling?
Welcome to the Marriage and Motherhood Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Perda. As a marriage coach who's married with 3 kids, I know how much parenthood could change a marriage. If flirting, laughing, and having fun together feels like a thing of the past, then I'm here to teach you that marriage doesn't have to feel so hard with your parents, and your marriage can thrive even when you're in the season of raising kids. Whether you're in a good place in your marriage and you just want to continue growing together, or you're wondering if you even like your spouse anymore, this podcast has something for you. Join me here each week as we dive into what it takes to help your marriage grow, and maybe even do a 180. You'll learn ways to handle conflict better, bring that spark back into your relationship, as well as learn how to improve other areas of your life from my lovely guest experts. Are you ready for the next stage of your life and marriage? Let's dive in.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Marriage and Motherhood Podcast. We are quickly approaching the new year, and so I wanted to take the time to have an episode about how you can set the new year, 2025, up for a year of marriage growth, of personal growth, of just growth in general, so that you can start seeing the changes and the progress that you have been wanting to see in a way that works for you. Okay, so we are going to make sure that whatever you are prioritizing, whatever you find important to you, that you want to see change and have that progress in the new year. Reflect on how the year has gone and think about the future. Think about how you want 2025 to be so that you can create a plan on how you're going to see through that year and have that year be full of growth, connection, joy, partnership, and everything that you want for yourself when it comes to your own personal life, whether it's taking better care of yourself, whether it's giving yourself more permission to do what you want, or your marriage, feeling like you two are more like a couple rather than roommates, or you feel like communication has really improved a lot so that you have the confidence to handle hard conversations and all kinds of conversations without it derailing your relationship, or even your journey as a mom, right? Improving your experience as a mom. That's what motherhood is. It's our experience. So I want to take this time to use this episode to talk about ways that you can reflect on how things have gone and how you want them to be by reflecting, setting goals, creating a vision so that you can take aligned action, make aligned choices to have the year that you want so that you don't end up at the end of 2025 looking back and being like, oh, well, same shit, different year. Nothing has changed, right? I want you to feel like every year is getting better. You're making progress. No matter how small, you can look back and be like, okay, it was better than the last year. And we're going to keep chugging along. We're going to keep making aligned choices for ourselves and see that progress, whether it's 1%, 10%, 15%, whatever it is, we're going to see that progress and we have a plan and we're going to see to it that we stick to it and give ourselves compassion when things don't go as planned and feel like we have a path forward. We have direction. Okay. I do have a free masterclass that you can watch where I walk you through creating a clear vision for your marriage, for your life, so that it will make it even easier for you to make decisions that align with what you truly want. And I'm going to share details for that in the show notes, but know that what we talk about in this episode is going to lay the foundation for you to be able to do that so that you are ready to watch that masterclass and just take the next step forward. Okay. So let's take some time to reflect on how this year has gone. How has 2024 been for you? I know for a lot of people, it's kind of been a dumpster fire. Hopefully you're not one of those people, but if you are, everything's temporary. It will pass. And in order for us to move forward, we have to know where we've been. So reflecting is a great exercise to help us highlight how we feel about things, to gain clarity and realign ourselves to what it is that we want so that we can set up a foundation for that growth, for that future that we want. Okay. So whether you want to sit down and journal this or go on a walk and listen and pause as I present these questions to help you reflect so you can kind of think it through and then play as soon as you are ready for the next question. You do it however you want. You can do this alone. You can do this with a friend. You can do this with your partner. Just as long as you do it. That's what really matters, okay? Because that's how you can help yourself not feel stuck, is by reflecting first. Because awareness is always where we start first, okay? So let's start with the easy question is, what went well this year? What went well when it comes to you personally, whether it's your job, whether it's how you feel at home, how you feel as a mom, how you feel as a wife? What went well? And then what went well for your marriage this year? Did you notice any positive changes, no matter how small, right? It could be, well, at least we don't call each other names when we fight. At least we don't leave. At least we can talk things out longer. Even if we can't reach a resolution, at least we could stick in the conversation longer. Or we fought less this year. Okay? Try and find the good. All right, so that's question number one. Number two is, what brought us closer? What are some things that brought you closer in your marriage? Was it moments that you experienced? Was it a new approach that you had when it came to communicating? Was it that your partner did more for you in terms of support, or did you support him more? Okay, so reflect on those moments. And then a more revealing question is, where did we feel stuck or disconnected? In other words, what hasn't worked for us this year? When we think about what doesn't work, which can come a lot easier than what has worked, we can notice what we don't want to repeat anymore and take a fine-tooth comb through it and notice, okay, well, what in that exactly didn't work? Because sometimes what doesn't work is a combination of things that do work and what doesn't work. So let's pull out the things that don't work and rearrange things and figure out what can we do in place of that to make it work better, right? Maybe it's not the perfect combination of things, but maybe it's an improvement, right? Let's go for that 1% change. What would help it be a 1% improvement than what it was for this year? So take some time and jot down or type it out on your phone or whatever, what things you felt stuck with or had you feeling disconnected from your husband. And then you could do this for your own life, your job, your experience with motherhood, your connection with your kids, okay? What hasn't worked this year? What don't you want to bring forward into 2025 and onwards? It's okay if this list is like way longer. Our brains are set up to have an easier time to point out what we don't like. That's okay. All of that brings awareness to us, and awareness is good. Okay? Next, we're going to create the vision. So this is a little preview of what the masterclass is like, and I highly recommend that you watch it because I walk you through a visualization to help you be able to really paint a vision for yourself so that you can make decisions more easily when it comes to making sure that they're going to help you have the future that you want to build for yourself. So whether that's you on your own, you with your husband, you with your family. Okay? And the reason why we need to create a vision and why having a vision is so important is because without a clear vision, we have no sense of direction. We are just kind of making decisions based on how we feel in the now versus making decisions on what we're working towards. right? So it's kind of like driving aimlessly. We're just going to be reacting to what's happening to us rather than taking control of the path that we're moving on. Okay. So instead of living a life where we feel like everything else and everyone else is deciding how our life is going to be, we're going to get into the driver's seat. We're going to have the sense of direction, and anything that we come across, we're going to ask ourselves, well, which decision is going to help me get closer to the life that I want? I'm going to choose that, right? And maybe you have pit stops. Sometimes we have pit stops and we can consciously decide, okay, this is an okay thing. It's not necessarily going to get me closer, but this is worth it to do. All right. So when we know what we want, we can make decisions a lot more easier to align with our goals. And I have named this masterclass the number one conversation that you need to have with your spouse that most people aren't having. And that is the vision. Without that vision, if you're not on the same page with your partner, where both of your visions complement each other and can make space for each other, then that can create a lot of arguments. And when we are not aligned with our partner on where we're going and they don't know where we're going, we have these desires in our mind that we're working towards that are driving how we respond to them, how we react, what triggers us, and they have no idea. And they just see how we respond to them, how we react to them. It can create a disconnect, right? But when there's transparency on what's important to us, what we want, and why we are going for it, then we can keep each other in mind when it comes to the decisions we're making as individuals and as partners, and we can help each other get to where we want to go. Okay. So in order to create a vision, you've got to do step one, which is reflect, which I walked you through earlier. But also, what do you want for your marriage to feel like in 2025? How do you want to feel in 2025, right? This can be, how do I want to feel emotionally? This can be, how do I want to feel physically? How do I want to feel mentally, spiritually, any type of feeling? How do I want to feel, right? And there's even areas around your life that you can be more granular about. You can do this with finances. You can do this with health. You can do this with career. You can do this with your home life. You can do this with parenting, partnership, romance, intimacy. There's just so many things that you can dive into this with. Okay. So how do you want to feel come this year? If you start there, it is way easier to make decisions that you're faced with as life goes on. Another question is, what's something that you want to accomplish as a couple? It could be one thing, it could be multiple things, right? What do you want to accomplish as a couple? Whether it's improve communication, whether it's go on a trip together without kids, or go on more dates without kids, or go on a massive family vacation, or have home life feel more joyful, have more laughter in it, have more calmness, have more collaboration, partnership, or maybe it's home projects, right? What are some things that you want to accomplish as a couple in the new year? And how can you support each other's growth this year, right? So last year, my husband and I had a conversation about what we wanted to accomplish as a couple and what we wanted to accomplish as individuals. And we shared all of that because your partner is the perfect accountability partner for you because you see them all the time. And when you share your personal goals, he can help you. If he sees you going off track, like, hey, are you still working on this? Is this still a priority to you? Or maybe I can take the kids on Saturday for a few hours and you can work on this, right? How can you support each other's growth? And even adding in that layer of what kind of support would be most supportive to me? Because sometimes what our partners thinks is supportive isn't actually supportive. And so we want to make sure that the energy that they put forth to support us is actually going to be effective. And the more we can share about our own awareness of what we need, the less they'll be disappointed, the less they'll be frustrated, the less they'll feel like a failure, the less they'll feel rejected or unappreciated, or the less resentful they'll feel. So let's just make it easy for our partners to help us, right? And vice versa. If they can share what they need from you to feel supported, that would be really great too. Okay. So this is just a preview of the masterclass. Again, if you want to dive deeper, make sure you go check that out. The link is in the show notes. Okay. Another thing that you can do is setting aligned goals, right? So the vision is like the grand plan, right? It's like painting a picture of, okay, I want life to look like this in the next year, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 30 years, right? But goals are the little things that we need to accomplish in order to get to that vision, right? So our vision is made up of little, small, and big goals to make that into our reality. Okay, so kind of like view goals as your stepping stones towards the vision that you'll be creating when you watch the masterclass. It's going to help you stay focused, stay intentional, and keep those priorities top of mind. All right, so example of aligned goals that you can have is like maybe you could have a goal related to connection, right? Whether it's having weekly check-ins, whether it's weekly dates inside or outside the house, or daily check-ins, or making sure that you are working towards reconnecting romantically or physically, right? I know a lot of times physical intimacy can kind of take a back seat when you have kids, and maybe you're ready now to bring it back to the forefront. And so what are those goals of yours to get to that point where you are feeling like you are physically romantic? It's not feeling awkward. It's not feeling like a chore. Maybe another goal could be how you guys are going to grow together, right? Are you going to go take a class together, learn Spanish together, right? Or read a book together, or take a communication course, which I have one, right? Or work with a marriage coach, right? Or attending a workshop together, or doing something adventurous together. How are you going to grow as a couple, right? How do you desire to grow as a couple? And then there's family goals also. Do you have a goal to go on a family trip, like taking a trip to Disneyland? I've been missing Disneyland a lot ever since moving to the East Coast. Even though I lived like 6-7 hours away, I loved Disneyland. Like there were years where we had an annual pass to Disneyland, even though we didn't live super close. We were still able to make it enough times to make it worth it. And Disneyland has such a special place in my heart. And I am very sad that I'm on the other side of the country now. And I'm secretly, not so secretly, planning to go there the next time we go visit our friends and family back in California. But anyway, what are some family goals that you have? Maybe it's like, oh, every week we're gonna have a game night where you play board games, or every week we're gonna have a dance party, or every week we're gonna go explore. Like what are some goals that you have to help your family grow? And it could even be things that aren't so fun, but allow for you to have more fun, like routines, right? Like introducing more structure into your family life so that things don't feel so chaotic, especially in the season of sports, right? Like for me personally, we've got tons of things going on now. We've got all 3 kids in swim, right? My oldest is on varsity swim team for high school. The 2 younger ones are training right now so that they can be part of the swim team come summer. My daughter's in dance. She's performing in the Nutcracker. And then my son is in basketball. So pretty much almost every weeknight, we've got something going on. And so that has kind of made us need to lean on routine and structure more so that we don't have to think so much, so that we don't feel like we're panicking a lot, so that we can have more energy to have fun together, to enjoy each other. And also so the kids feel more stability, right? They know what to expect. Okay. So set some goals. It could be one in each category. It could be one in general. I just want you to have something in mind so that you know what you're working towards and you have a focal point so that come 2025, you have something to work towards. You have something to look forward to. You have something to anchor into, and you don't feel like, oh, it's just another day, right? Yeah, new year, who cares, right? No, you have something to try and make progress towards. And when we have something to look forward to, life just feels more meaningful that way. Okay. So, in an effort to support all of this, right? To support your goals, to support your vision, to make use out of your reflection, it's also really powerful to cultivate a mindset of growth, right? Growth in terms of the little things, right? Growth happens in the little things that we do, the small habits that we put in place, because growth doesn't happen overnight, right? It's not like we wake up and everything is magically amazing. It's how we want it, right? That only happens in fairy tales. But when it comes to real life and the daily life, it happens in our choices, in our habits, in showing up daily with, how can we make things better, right? In a mindset of continuous improvement. I'm sure you've heard me say this before, right? A mindset of growth, curiosity, compassion for when we make mistakes and mess up, and also a willingness to keep going and to learn and to bring our partners into the process. So, some shifts that you can try on that will help you with this is making space for yourself so that you have the capacity to continue making progress. So you have the capacity to draw your partner in to do those things that will help you feel more connected, to work on your communication. And some powerful relationship mindsets that you can try on are curiosity, with conflict, with problem solving, with how can we make this more fun? How can we feel more connected? Right? How can I show my gratitude more? How can I help my spouse feel more loved by me? Or even just the powerful question, and maybe even tough question of, what's it like to be married to me? And am I okay with that? What do I want to change about that so that I can feel more proud of who I am being as a partner to my spouse? Okay. So that's it. That's all I have for you today. Okay. Watch that masterclass. But before that, make sure you are doing the reflection first. So reflect, watch the masterclass so you can create that vision, so you can set up your 2025 up to be the best year so far, and set those aligned goals so that you know what you're working towards. So it's easier to set those boundaries. So it's easier to say yes to things that help you get there faster. It's easier for you to say no because you know why you're saying no. So you don't feel guilt about saying no because you have a higher mission that you're working towards. Okay. And then focus on those small habits to support you in creating that vision into your reality over time. All right. I am wishing you the best year ever moving forward in 2025. Let's leave the things that we want to leave behind in 2024 that we don't want to bring into 2025. And let's just do a fresh start. That was last year. You've got your lessons learned. You've got things that you did well. And let's carry all of that positivity and growth into the new year and keep building on it. Okay. And go check out that masterclass. It's in the link in the show notes. And if you're wanting support, just reach out. Let me know what vision you worked on. Let me know what questions you have to help you create that into your reality. And if you are wanting support, whether it's checking out my communication course, if communication is on your to-do list of things to improve, or if your marriage is wanting more of that personalized touch, let's see if coaching is the next step for you too. Okay. I am wishing you a new year and so much love and growth and gratitude for you being a listener Like, this show would not be what it is without you. And I'm looking forward to what this new year brings for me, for you, for my family, for your family. And I'll catch you back here on the next episode. Bye.
That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, please send me a message over on Instagram at Michelle Perta Coaching to let me know what you loved most about it. Hearing from my listeners is my absolute favorite. And if you've been loving this podcast, please leave a rating and review. This will help people like you find the show and get the help they need. Catch you here on the next episode. Bye.